Hello there, this is Bill Walls from In Touch Marketing. Now, I know it may seem like a mission impossible at times when you're trying to grow your business, but what I'm going to show you today is a case study of a client of ours that will show you how we took them from point A to point B and essentially raised their revenue by 374% in only a 7-month period using inbound marketing. So we're going to do things a little different today. We're going to show you some of the challenges that we had with the client and what they were trying to reach. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the results first and then show you how we did it. Because I know you're business owners and you go, no, Bill, get straight to the point. So let's take a look. Some of the major challenges we had with them was that they wanted to raise revenue quite a bit in a 12-month period. So they wanted to raise it about an average of $50,000 a month in a 12-month period. And they needed to increase their web traffic tremendously in order to do this. They wanted to position themselves as a thought leader in the industry because they wanted to separate themselves out from their competition. They also needed to streamline their marketing and sales process. And they wanted to increase their business leads because the majority of the leads that they wanted to generate had to come from online. And so before working with us, we needed to get a benchmark of how they were performing at that particular stage. And so as you can see from the information here, which was taken from Google Analytics, they were able to generate about 5,700 visits or so in that 7-month period in 2012, and they got about 51 leads. So at least we knew what we were dealing with in terms of what their website was generating at that time. After working with us, what happened in the 7-month period? For the same March to October period in 2013, we were able to raise their traffic to 14,299. That's almost a 250% increase in their traffic. But more importantly, we were able to raise their leads to 217 in that 7-month period. That's a 420% increase in the number of leads that we were able to generate from them. A tremendous increase. Yeah. So how did we do all this? So prior to starting any sort of strategic plan for this client, we needed to look at their website, because why were they only generating 812 visits or so every month? And we realized there wasn't enough information on the site to keep people there, so we needed a complete website redesign for them. So we talked to the client, they agreed, because it doesn't matter how many visitors you have coming to your website. If your website isn't set up to capture them, it's going to fail. And so in order for us now to figure out exactly where we needed to go, we knew they were generating 821 visits a month. They needed to get to $50,000 in a 12-month period per month. What would the website currently have to do in order to generate that? Well, if you're only generating 821 visits, you only have a 1% conversion ratio. That means you need to generate almost 30,000 visits per month in order to hit your target. Well, that's virtually impossible, especially given this particular industry. So what we had to look at was, how are we going to change that scenario for them? And so the main thing we had to look at was we needed to increase the conversion rates. So it doesn't matter how much traffic we brought, if we weren't able to convert them over, that would be a major problem for us. So we knew if we increased the conversion rate to 10%, we would only have to generate about 3,000 visits in a month. We also knew that by raising it to a 10% conversion rate, that was also going to be very difficult, given the industry that they're in. But they were going after some very high ticket item clients. And so we knew that the money that potential client was going to bring in could offset these conversion rates. Because you'll see that there's what's your average lifetime revenue per customer section, which is blacked out. But if they were able to raise that number up substantially by bringing in certain kinds of clients, it was worth bringing on us to see if we could do that, because they knew they would be able to generate a great deal more income if they were able to get the right customers in. So our first plan of attack is obviously increase web traffic. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, before you start increasing traffic, you have to know what kind of traffic are you trying to bring in. And that all starts with what we call buying personas. Buying personas are essentially semi-fictional representations of your ideal customers. And we determine that for our clients by doing extensive research, by interviewing the client themselves, their customers, through surveys and so on and so forth. And then we start creating blog content aimed at those buying personas. By creating blog content, by creating ebooks, case studies, and so forth, this will help position the client as a thought leader in their industry. And then once we've started to drive that traffic to the site to establish that, we now need to look at converting that traffic into potential leads. So as traffic starts to come in, the salespeople need to know, are these leads now ready to purchase? Where are they in the buying cycle? And so we set up for them specific criteria so that sales reps can understand if this lead is ready to buy or if they're not ready to buy and they're just kicking the tires, so to speak. So as we mentioned, leads are now coming in, but we now need to convert them. So how do we convert them? We convert them through a series of what we call call to actions, which are buttons, links, and so forth, and landing pages. So creating quality content around what the buying personas are for this particular client, we were able to entice them to click on links, to click on buttons, and go to landing pages and give them solutions to problems that they may have. And that helps convert visitors into leads. And then once they are leads, if they're not ready to purchase yet, you now need to nurture them. And you can do that through email automation by delivering content that again solves problems for your customers. And so how did all this work help the client ultimately in this 7-month period? Well, as you can see, we were able to raise up their revenue by an additional $49,818 in that 7-month period. Now remember, they are on a 12-month retainer contract. We are only in the 7th month and we've already hit their target. That's an increase in their revenue of 374%. And so as you can see, we're quite passionate about what we do here at InTouch. We love helping businesses grow because if we make you successful, then we become more successful, and that's what it's all about. So if you think that we can maybe help you, or you'd like to learn more about how this process works and how it can apply to your business, request an assessment from us. It's free. Essentially, we start with just a phone conversation. We'll talk about your business, where you might want to take it. We'll take a look at your website and see how that fits into the process and see if we're a good fit for each other. Hopefully you'll find this information important, and thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.